Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Peer and welcome to the Salt-Tea Podcast. Well, the new year is quickly approaching, and in this episode we'll be taking a quick look at how far we've come along in 2019, as well as consider some great New Year's resolutions for 2020. So before we begin, I just want to say hello to Great Britain! Anchor just notified me that Salt-Tea Science has made its way to England, which is so exciting because England has such a rich history of marine science, and in fact were some of the first pioneers that provided the foundation for much of our modern knowledge of the oceans. So Great Britain, welcome to Salt-Tea Science. Alright, so only a few listeners know this, but the Salt-Tea Science podcast actually started in June of 2019 in honor of World Ocean Day. And in trying to air the very first episode, everything that could go wrong, let me tell you, it went wrong, including the power going out and no Wi-Fi. And therefore I had to record my very first episode on my phone in my car, which almost immediately after I started recording, a torrential downpour hit our area and all you could hear in the recording was the rain pelting my car. But did I quit? No! I said to myself, Salt-Tea Science must happen, and it will happen. Then after that epic battle between nature and technology, and after recording a couple of episodes, I discovered that the format of the show just wasn't feasible to do with my current research schedule. So after consulting my very early listeners, which FYI consisted mostly of my family members and a few friends, I took down all of the previously recorded episodes and revamped the format to what we have now and enjoy. But then, on the day that I was going to record my very first new episode with this new awesome format, my mic breaks. Which I mean, it just literally stopped working. Then, through back and forth emails with the manufacturer, they finally determined, yes, it really is broken, send it in for a replacement. Which, of course, as you know, the mic that I have is on back order, and now, actually 21 weeks later, I am still waiting for my replacement mic. But, did I quit? No. As soon as the mic broke, I rushed out to the store and got a budget-friendly microphone and recorded the intro episode and episode 1 and every episode since, because I knew that my listeners needed Salt-Tea Science in their lives. And throughout 2019, we've covered a lot of great science, and hopefully you've had just as much fun as I have. So let's take a quick look. In our first quarter, episodes 1 through 7, and then 9 through 11, we started building our knowledge based on major concepts of marine science and how they apply to the ocean, such as salinity and density and light. And then in episode 8, as well as in episode 20, we utilized our knowledge to answer questions a priori, that is, based on theoretical deduction. And then, of course, we can't forget about our very first Myths and Legends episode on the Flying Dutchman with our call-in expert, Rebecca Seibert. And then we ended our first quarter with our very first listeners episode, which was great. Thank you once again to everyone who sent in your submissions. And then we started out on our second quarter by highlighting the colossal fish, the Atlantic sturgeon. And then we also covered some more great science and some great special segments, such as our Thanksgiving episode, where several fellow marine scientists shared with us why they are thankful for our oceans. And so, as I look back at 2019, I have to say, this has been a great year, and I'm so glad that I didn't let technical difficulties stop me from getting Salt-Tea Science to you. Alright, so now let's turn our attention to 2020, this new year coming up, because I've already got some great stuff lined up for Salt-Tea Science in this new year. From some more awesome science to even having special scientists calling in from all over the world, which, spoiler alert, includes Antarctica! And I'm also in the process of developing some really cool Salt-Tea Science merch, which should be available by our third quarter if everything goes according to plan. If everything goes according to plan. Or at least according to my backup plan. But anyway, alright, so now let's get to some of our Salt-Tea Science 2020 New Year's resolutions. Alright, so here's my Salt-Tea Science resolution number 1. To continue making and improving Salt-Tea Science episodes for you and me to enjoy. Which, I'll say this now, if you have a topic that you'd like to hear discussed on Salt-Tea Science, please shoot me an email at saltysciencepodcast@gmail.com and I'll see what I can do for you. And I already know that one listener has already requested that we talk about currents, which I just want to let this listener know that I am in the process of making this happen for you. I am consulting with physical oceanographers so that you can get the best knowledge on this topic, so stay tuned. Alright, so now on to Salt-Tea Science resolution number 2. To be more vigilant at refusing to take plastic bags from grocery stores and other stores. And I can do this by bringing my own reusable bags with me. And not only does this help save the grocery stores and other stores money so that they can bring their prices down, but it also helps keep plastic bags from entering our oceans, where they have the potential to hurt our beloved whales and sea turtles, as well as our commercial fish and critters and everything else wonderful in the ocean. Which, FYI listeners, I have already been doing this in 2019, but for 2020 I want to be even better at it. Alright, and now Salty Science New Year's resolution number 3, which is to invest in reusable straws for my friends and family. So when I go to restaurants, I normally refuse to take a straw to help reduce our plastic pollution, but I do have some friends and family that have specific reasons why they need a straw at a restaurant. So I'm going to invest in my own reusable straws that I carry around with me so that next time we go out to eat and they need a straw, I'll be able to just whip out a very clean reusable straw for them to enjoy. And finally, my Salty Science resolution number 4 is to participate in more beach cleanups and track my progress on the Clean Swell app, which, FYI listeners, the Clean Swell app is a free app by the Ocean Conservancy which allows you to track in a fun and easy way how much trash we collect from our beaches. And every time we use the app, real scientists are able to use that data to help them do big science all over the world. And if you're interested, you can find out more about the Ocean Conservancy at their website, oceanconservancy.org. And before I close this episode, I want to remind us all once again that our next listeners episode is coming up soon. So if you have a great oceany or water related story that you're willing to share with us and have it read aloud on air, email me at saltysciencepodcast@gmail.com. I've already received some great stories that I just can't wait to share with you. And so the deadline to submit a story for this upcoming listeners episode is Saturday, January 25th at the stroke of midnight. But of course, you don't have to wait until then to submit your story. You can submit a story anytime between now and then. And finally, I do just want to say that if you have a great story that you want to share, but you want to remain anonymous or prefer that I use a specific username or alias, just make sure to let me know that in the email, and I will be more than happy to accommodate. And with that, I'll end this episode by saying Happy New Year! And don't forget to do at least one thing this week and in the new year to help keep our oceans and waterways clean and beautiful, and to always stay salty. Thank you for listening to Salty Science. But guess what? You don't have to let the fun end here. Go to www.saltysciencepodcast.weebly.com, where I've posted some cool videos, my study notes, and some really neat experiments that you can try at home. And if you want to follow along with my own research, you can follow me on Instagram. User handle Teps Adventure. That's TEPS Adventure. All Salty Science episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, and YouTube, plus a number of other podcasting apps. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, as this is the best way to spread the word about this podcast. Salty Science is listener supported, so if you would like to show your support, visit our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Salty Science, where you can either make a one-time donation of any amount or join the Salty Science crew for as little as $1 a month. So visit the Salty Science Patreon and sign up today.